into the video, I just want to say a huge thank you because a couple weeks ago, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary on YouTube from when I posted my very first video. And by celebrate, I mean I drank a bottle of wine to myself at home. It was also a really big day and a milestone for me though as well, because I reached 1,000 subscribers at that year anniversary. So thank you if you have already subscribed and you come back all of the time to check out my videos. And if you're new, welcome and please subscribe. I put out a video every single Wednesday. So today what I'm going to show you is how to make 2 different clocks for $5. Okay, let's get into it. So for my first clock, I just picked up an old clock from the thrift store, and I also have an old record, some paint, and you'll need a screwdriver to take the clock apart. So basically I'm just using this clock for the mechanism inside of it, ripping it apart. You can definitely easily just go and buy a clock mechanism separately. It is a little bit more expensive to do it that way, so I'm just repurposing this old clock. So again, you can see I'm just tearing it apart, that back center piece, and now all of the hands. We have a functioning clock. So I just took some regular acrylic paint and I painted my scratched up record that I picked up from the thrift store. You don't even have to do this step. You could leave the center the way it is, maybe if it's a record that you like, but I just freehanded this paint on here, and I did have to do a couple of coats, but once it was all done, you basically just piece it together because there's already a hole in the center of the record, and you can just put the hands back together and you have a working clock. For my second one, I used a cork hot pot stand from the dollar store, some tape, also again some paint, and we are going to need like an X-Acto knife. So for this, I basically just put some tape on in a random design and different shapes, taped that off. You can definitely just paint it all one color if you like. This is just how I decided to do it, and I just sponged that on. Again, it's just some acrylic paint that I had at home, a couple of different colors. So once you remove all of the tape very carefully, you're left with your little design, and this is probably the trickiest part of this one. So you're going to need to mark the center of your cork hot plate, and I kind of just used a pen here to jab a hole through the center so that I could put the clock mechanism through. And then on the back, I'm tracing the back part of the clock mechanism, and I'm cutting into it just ever so slightly with this X-Acto knife. It's basically because this is too thick for the clock mechanism to fit all the way through. So I kind of cross-hatched this, making little squares in the back so that it was easier to kind of pop out and dig out this cork. Again, don't cut all the way through. I went about maybe halfway through my hot plate and just kind of scratched it all out and dug it in a little bit. So basically this will fit in now a little bit better, and that other part will stick through all of the way, enough so that you can attach the hands again, and that's just a different clock that you can make with an old clock. Pretty simple, right? So you can have some fun with that. You don't have to use those products. Really, any circular item you can turn into a clock. It could even be a square if you wanted to. I'd love to see what your clocks look like though, how you design and decorate them. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JanelleSteeper, and then tag me in any of those posts, and don't forget to use the hashtag toDIYfor. If you enjoyed this DIY, let me know, give me a like, and again, don't forget to subscribe because next Wednesday I'll be back with a new one. Cheers. Yeah, because that's a word.